Over the last few days, we've been getting a lot of fight announcements from Dana White and some massive UFC announcements, but also just a bunch of little sneaky announcements from Big Marcel and other news sources for UFC 297, 298, 299, 300, Mexico City, and other massive cards. But in this video, I was just looking at the UFC 298 card, as we did recently have the big announcement of Robert Whittaker taking on Paulo Costa, but we also have Merab and Henry Cejudo, as well as Tuivasa Tybura, and some other fights that have been shifted around and announced. This is a good card, and I just really wanted to talk about it in this video. As you guys can tell, I am still away from home and will be for a few days, and then I'll probably spend a few days again away from home over the new year. I guess everybody is out visiting family at this time, and so am I. So I've got this pretty basic setup here. I've got my laptop, and I've brought my studio interface and my microphone with me here. So I'm just holding the microphone. Once again, I do apologize if there are some audio difficulties. There's not too much I can do about it. I'm just kind of doing what I can with what I have. But let's talk about UFC 298, because this is a good card. And this is a card that's going to get us all excited for the big cards coming up, because UFC 299 is loaded. But UFC 300 is also going to be loaded as well, I'm sure. We've got Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria in the main event. A fight that was rumored for a long time. A fight that was announced relatively recently. A fight that a lot of people are very, very excited about. I'm very excited about this one. There are a lot of people picking Ilia Topuria in the matchup, but at the same time, Alexander Volkanovski is undefeated at 145 pounds. The losses that he has had in his career are at 155 and 170. He's never lost at 145. Can Ilia Topuria, the undefeated 27-year-old up-and-coming beast, do that? Who knows, man, who knows? I wasn't really going to give predictions in this video, but at the moment I am leaning Volkanovski. At the end of the day, it still is quite undeniable what he has done. You could say Ilia Topuria is also undeniable, but I've got a feeling, man, Volkanovski is just so well-rounded. I know Topuria is an amazing grappler and an incredible striker as well, but Volkanovski can do it all as well. He can mix it up. He's a smart fighter. He can steal rounds if he needs to. I do think at the moment, very early lean in December, I do have Volk by a very close competitive decision. This is a fight that I would love to see. I mean, it's happening. I'm hyped. And then we've got Robert Whittaker taking on Paulo Costa in the co-main event. Another fight that everyone's excited for. Another fight which Paulo Costa is saying on Twitter that he hasn't signed the belt agreement for. Come on, Paulo. Like, what is happening, man? He hasn't fought for over a year. He's had all of these cancelled fights. He's 1-2 in his last 3. He's 33 years old. It just occurred to me, what is Paulo Costa doing? Really, really hope we get this matchup. I really hope we see Paulo Costa fight at least 2 or 3 times in 2023. 3 times would be ideal. 2 times would be good. But we've got Robert Whittaker coming back. Robert Whittaker, a guy that has always been that #1 contender. A guy that has always been in some high-level bouts. Has had close matchups with Israel Adesanya. Close matchups with Yoel Romero. You name it, Robert Whittaker's done it. But he couldn't get past Dricus du Plessis in his last fight. And let's see, did that take anything away from Robert Whittaker? Or did that maybe even expose that Robert Whittaker maybe just doesn't have it all anymore? I think that Robert Whittaker is still going to be in pretty prime shape. You know, he's 33. He's not 37. And he's taking on Paulo Costa. Who knows how Paulo is going to look? I mean, I don't even know what's going on with Paulo. I don't think anybody does. I don't think Paulo himself knows what's going on, because I'm seeing him complain on Twitter about not getting paid enough money. He's going to have to pay too much tax. Because I'm like, Paulo, you just signed this massive new contract with the UFC. The way that you get paid is by fighting. I want to see you fight. I think the fans want to see Paulo fight as well. Come on, Paulo, what's going on? I want to see Paulo versus Whittaker. My prediction for this fight, though, is Robert Whittaker, and Robert Whittaker by decision. I was very much let down by Whittaker losing to DDP. He made me look a little bit silly, because I was very much on the Whittaker side heavily on that matchup. But hey, it's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. Whittaker decision is my current lean. And now we're going to get a little bit controversial, because I am actually going to pick Henry Cejudo to beat Merab Dvalishvili. Guys, Merab Merab, man, I don't rate him that highly. I mean, people think that Merab is this absolute beast, but when you watch his style, he's done the same thing his entire career. Just constantly wrestle, but with no intention of actually getting the takedown. That's what Merab's done for his entire career, is do that. But I think that Henry Cejudo, the former gold medalist in wrestling, the guy that some people do argue actually could have got the decision against Aljamain Sterling. When I watched the fight live, I thought that Henry Cejudo actually won the fight as well. I think Henry Cejudo can go out there and take down Merab, put Merab on his back. And what's Merab going to do then? This is also a 3-round fight. I think a 3-round fight heavily benefits Henry Cejudo. Now, on the feet, we know that Merab can strike. He's not the best striker in the world, but Henry Cejudo leaves his chin way up in the air like this. That's always a bit of a worry. But I genuinely think that we're going to see Henry Cejudo beat Merab. I think that we're going to see Henry Cejudo go out there, go offensively against Merab in the wrestling, and get the takedowns. If you put Merab on his back, he can't offensively wrestle. He's got to defensively wrestle, and he's got to work to get back up. I think Henry Cejudo can go out there and do it. So I'm picking Cejudo by decision in the matchup here as well, just to get us going. Tai Tuivasa versus Marcin Tybura. Stylistically, a very difficult matchup, to be honest, for Tuivasa, but I think he can get it done. Jeff Neal taking on Ian Gary, rescheduled. I believe the original scheduling was UFC 299. Now Ian Gary is on a press conference with Paulo Costa. We'll see if Paulo Costa goes there with Ian Gary in his personal life sort of situation that we all know about. Jeff Neal probably will. I mean, in my opinion, I think if Jeff Neal wanted to go after Ian Gary, I think he's completely in his right to do so, to be honest, because Ian Gary tried to publicly shame him over him being arrested, put his face, his mugshot on a t-shirt. We'll see if Jeff Neal goes hard at Ian Gary. I think he could. I think Ian Gary wins the fight, but Jeff Neal's a good fighter, man. Jeff Neal is a guy that could put Ian Gary in a bit of trouble, and Jeff Neal can wrestle. He doesn't normally wrestle, but if he wants to use his boxing to close the distance to try and get some offensive takedowns, I don't think it would be the worst idea against Ian Gary, because we don't really know how good his grappling is in the UFC. We haven't really seen anyone just try and wrestle him. You know, we've seen a lot of clinching earlier on, but we haven't really seen any wrestling. So it'll be interesting to see if Jeff Neal tries to go down that game plan there. And now the prelims are definitely not in order, but I do want you guys to know that these are some good fights, and these are some fights to look forward to. Danny Barlow versus Yusaku Kinoshita. Absolute war. An absolute war. I mean, Yusaku Kinoshita, maybe in hindsight, just wasn't quite ready for the UFC, which is a shame, because I do think that he's a really good fighter, and I do think we probably will see him again. But Danny Barlow's an absolute beast, man. He's a southpaw, and his nickname is Left Hand to God, because he has so much power in that left hand. It is unbelievable. I think that we're going to see Danny Barlow get a KO over Yusaku, but the reason why is because Yusaku is a brawler, man. Yusaku's going to get into a firefight. You don't want to get into a firefight with a guy with the power of Danny Barlow, a guy who I'm going to say this actually, who has shown a lack of aggression in the past, but showed a lot of aggression in Dana White's Contender Series. If he can control aggressiveness and just be aggressive and come forward, he will knock out Yusaku in round 1. Justin Tafa versus Marcos Rogério de Lima. I'm Tafa gang. I love Justin Tafa, man. I think he gets it done. First round KO, maybe a second round KO. Justin Tafa's striking is really good. His takedown defense should be good enough if Marcos decides to wrestle, which he probably will. But as long as this fight is on the feet, Tafa's the better striker. Tafa's faster. Tafa is more powerful. If the fight gets down to the ground, we're in trouble. That's when you start to panic. But as long as the fight is on the feet, Tafa's going to be live for a KO. I think he does it. I think he gets the knockout. Ming Yang Zhang taking on Brinson Ribeiro. Absolute war. Absolute war. If you guys don't know who Ming Yang Zhang is, he is a guy on a massive first round KO streak. Now, albeit not against the best of competition, I will admit that this guy has knocked people out in the first round. Like, in how many fights now? I think that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 fights in a row. He's finished in the first round, most of them by KO as well. He's apparently got a kickboxing event that has already been. apparently. Okay, I mean, that happened, but Brenton Ribeiro fights like Claudio Ribeiro. If you know who Claudio Ribeiro is, you'll understand that he is a bomber. He runs forward, swinging wildly, come off a massive upset win against Bruno Lopez, where Bruno Lopez was meant to win that fight. Brenton Ribeiro got the upset, huge win for him, fought like a maniac, got the KO. I think Ming Yang Zhang's boxing is going to be a little bit too good for him though, man. Ming Yang Zhang's boxing looked really, really good and really, really sharp when he took on George Tokos. Now he's 25 years old. He's obviously getting a little bit older than he was when he was 24, so he would have matured a bit. He would have gotten better. I'm assuming he trains at the UFC Performance Institute in Shanghai. I like Ming Yang Zhang. I like Ming Yang Zhang by KO as well in the first round, maybe the second round. Andrea Lee versus Miranda Maverick. Good fight. I mean, it's going to be good to kind of see where is Miranda Maverick at right now, because she is kind of up and down. She had that win over Priscilla Cachoeira, which was a good win. Before that, she lost to Jasuda Vicious, where she didn't look good. She got out-wrestled. She lost to Erin Blanchfield, got out-wrestled pretty badly there. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see as well. Where is Andrea Lee at this point in her career? 3-fight losing streak. Two good fighters, I will admit. I mean, Natalia Silva is an absolute beast at this weight class. Maybe Andrea Lee's best days are behind her. She's taking on a girl that will wrestle in Maverick. I think Maverick out-wrestles her to a decision. Anthony Hernandez versus Ikram Aliskerov. Very interesting matchup that could go either way, in my opinion, because Anthony Hernandez has a very interesting, very offensive, very cardio-heavy style where he will be constantly going for takedowns, constantly looking to out-grapple you. And Ikram Aliskerov is a really good Sambo background. You know, he's a really good Sambo fighter. He's showing good takedown defense on the regional scene. He's showing good takedown defense against Khamzat Chimaev in that fight that lasted 2 minutes. I'm going to go with Ikram though, but this is a low confidence right now, and obviously, I mean, this is December. I don't think these fights are until like March or something, so these picks will probably, they're in February. These picks will probably change. Just giving you guys my early thoughts here. Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. I like Suarez. Good stylistic matchup for Suarez, really. Lemos just got out-wrestled by Wei Li. Suarez is a really good wrestler. I'm going to put 2 and 2 together there. And this is an interesting one. Rinya Nakamura taking on Brody Haystand. If you guys don't know who Rinya Nakamura is, he's a really good wrestler from Japan. A former world champion in freestyle wrestling. A former junior champion in freestyle wrestling. A guy that has medaled all around the world in freestyle wrestling. He was meant to go to the Olympics in 2020, but I mean, COVID happened, so he just was like, okay, I'll just do MMA. And it turns out his boxing is pretty good. This guy's got KO power. Now, he didn't look amazingly awesome against Ronnie Garcia, but it was a dominant performance there. Looked good. Knocked out Toshiyama Kazama, Noze, smoked Gugan Guzman in first round sub. This guy's the real deal, Nakamura, and Brady Haystand's a good wrestler, but he's not going to be good enough to out-wrestle Rinya Nakamura, and he's not going to be good enough on the feet to stand with Rinya Nakamura either. I think Nakamura knocks him out in the first round, to be honest, and now we've got Val Woodburn versus Open Elliott. Why? Just why? I mean, the good thing is that Val Woodburn is fighting at welterweight. Why is this on the pay-per-view though? Why? Just put this on in the Apex. This is not a pay-per-view fight. Val Woodburn is not a UFC level fighter. I did tape study for his fight against Bonical. I wasted my time. I'll be honest. He's probably too small for 170. He's like 5'8" or something like that at 185. Now at 170. Open Elliott's a wrestler. I thought he lost on the Contender Series. I'll be honest. He just doesn't have the best style. He's just a wrestler, and that's kind of it. He's kind of boring. Oh no, I don't think he lost. So I thought it was a draw. I can't even remember, man. I remember being kind of mad about the decision for some reason though. Maybe it was because Kike Brito just folded. I think Kike Brito threw the fight away. Anyway, it's hard to explain. Whatever. Anyways, I'm tired, as you guys can tell. I'll leave you guys there. Hopefully that video wasn't too long. That video is going to be, I have no idea how long it's going to be because I don't know how to use my laptop apparently. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Catch you guys later.